We're talking bio families and how you can be involved on Foster Life.
The conversation starts now, only on Foster TV.
Friday!
What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I want to spend a lot of time with my kids this weekend, but we're going to St. Louis.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep, I got a little...
Somebody's gonna be throwing some axes, is what I heard.
Yeah, maybe. I'm having a little procedure done today after the show, and then we're headed to St. Louis, and the kids are going to stay with grandma and the aunts and uncles, and we're going to spend time with them too. But we're going to continue the birthday, Valentine, love weekend in St. Louis, and so I know we're staying in a nice hotel. I know we're going to maybe go throw some axes because of you, and I'm just totally curious. And I am not redneck at all, I'm telling you. But I wonder, I might be able to throw a good axe.
Hey, we may have a competition on the show or something at some point.
Yeah, I think Ethan got these big pictures of you, and we're going to put them on the target, and I'll see if I can hit you. No, I'm kidding. But we are going to do that. I know we're going to try some new vegan restaurants that we've never been to before. And just kind of chill, relax, have a nice little weekend, and me and E need some time alone, so that's always good. What are you gonna do?
This weekend, I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
You don't know?
Nope, not sure.
Well, you got this hot
I do
new
know.
girlfriend.
Yep, and I do know that.
Yep. Yeah, he just bypassed that question right away. I'm trying to get as much information about this girl that I can, and it just is kind of yep, and we move on. So.
I do know I'm also going on vacation. I leave on Saturday as well.
So he's leaving on vacation, and Courtney will be in our studios on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All 3 shows. It'll be Courtney and I, and she's actually sitting in here. She's just giving us some moral support today, and part of our studio audience, and she's smiling from ear to ear because she knows that she's going to be here taking your place. And
Short term, not long term.
Yeah, short term. And then once you come back from vacation, like the next day she leaves on vacation.
Yep.
So then it'll be us.
So the same day I come back is the same day she's leaving.
Yeah, something like that. Well, today on Foster Life, we are talking about how to support those bio parents. And I think it's so important for us to remember when we decide to volunteer and do this job, because it really is a volunteer position. Remember, this pension that we get each month, that is to reimburse expenses. That's what that's for. It's not a salary. It's not an hourly. It's not. That's why when you go to do your taxes, we don't have to claim taxes on any of that because it's a reimbursement. So when we volunteer to do this, the goal is always what? Reunification. We always want those kids to be reunificated with their parents if at all possible. Number 1 goal. And I'll tell you, as a foster parent who has adopted many, that is still my number 1 goal when I get a kid. reunification. I also am known for working with those bio parents. And you can be as involved and not as involved with the bio parents as you want to be. Come on. You have their kid in your house. And if you're making a connection with that kid and you fall in love with that kid, why wouldn't you want to help that kid and his family or her family? Why wouldn't you?
Right.
Because you care about them, right?
Right.
So that just seems odd to me when we foster and we automatically think, oh, we want to, adopt and they should never get them back and all of. No. That's not why we do this. The goal is always reunification. Now, if that goal changes to adoption because they choose not to work the program, then we're on a whole different playing field. But I'm going to tell you, I still lend the bio family support, usually. We're going to talk about it today on fostering.
Hi, I'm Courtney. Join me every Monday on Foster Life, and we'll get the conversation started.
We're talking bio parents today on Foster Life. It's Friday. We're getting ready to go on a little trip.
You're going on a trip and I'm going on a vacation.
You're going on a trip and I'm going on a vacation. And I'll tell you what, I work harder than him any day of the week. I sleep like 3 hours a day, editing all this stuff. I'm going on vacation, you're going on a trip. Yeah, we'll see about all that. I'll be going on a vacation sometime this year too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Yeah, and we're hoping that we're taking our little bundles of joy to Disney World this year.
Well, that'd be fun.
We're saving our pennies and everything. You notice that my kids are always putting money in those piggy banks?
Yep.
You know what that's for? When we go on vacation, that's their souvenir money.
Oh, okay.
So they're not like, Dad, can I have this? Can I have that? So we buy all the junk food and all that stuff, but that's their, if they want a hat from Mickey Mouse or whatever, that's that money. So that's why they're always so excited to put their money in all those piggy banks. And we have them all through the bathroom. Their grandma made them.
So that's why Roz was asking me for a couple change.
Oh, yeah.
My mom.
Yeah, he'll ask you for your change because he wants to put it in his vacation souvenir money. And Rose, she's my little saver. Any money she finds, she don't even ask if she can have it. She just goes and puts it in her bank. So, but I have to glue them shut because my teenagers were getting in there and stealing all the silver out of them. Make me mad. I get kind of like a Papa Bear when they take from my little ones. So, we're talking bio families today, and it's really important to me in everything that I do that we get behind our bio parents. And I'm gonna tell you, I've never had one case that my kids have done where I said, well, I could see how the bio parent would. No. Their kids got taken away for a reason, and I get that. But sometimes you have to put all that aside and give them another chance. Might have to give them 2 chances, 3 chances. But when I look back in my life, Tristan, I know that you find this very, very shocking, but I've made lots of mistakes in my life.
No, Rob.
No, I'm serious. I have. And I've done things that probably, but you know what? Somebody believed enough in me to give me another chance, and another chance, and another chance. And my demons, so to speak, are just different than their demons. So even though I don't understand some of these things, Tristan's the only one that's perfect.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Huh?
I've had my mistakes as well, Rob.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez. And so that's what I think is important when we're working with these bio parents. But the first thing you got to do, and you know it, is you got to set those
Boundaries.
boundaries. You're exactly right. Because if you don't set the boundaries, and I don't want to kind of judge or put stipulation there or whatever, but if you don't set the boundaries, it's very easy for them to start taking advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they will. They will. And so you got to set the boundaries from the beginning. And usually that sounds something like this. I really want to help you get Marissa back. And I know that you can do it. And I want to lend you support. And this is what I'm willing to do. But you have to understand that it's not my job to do that. And I'm going to put in as much as you put in. So if you're putting 100% in, I'm going to put 100% in. But also you have to be patient with me because I have lots of kids that have lots of needs, and I have other parents that have needs too. So I'm willing to help you, but you have to be patient.
You're not going to get a text every single day,
Right.
every single hour.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be patient with me, and it cannot ever become an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's important to lay that out from the beginning. And then the next conversation can move on to, what am I going to do to help you in your situation? And there's lots of ways that we can support them.
Mm-hmm. Just like we talked about in our holiday episode, you could, whenever the holidays come about, you could give them a call, you could maybe even FaceTime the bio parents and just get a little bit of interaction with their kid.
Right. And I always take what I'm planning to do with the parent, I take it to the social worker, and I talk with the social worker, okay, this is what I'm willing to do. And even if it's just really something basic, that way the team knows what's going on, I know what I'm willing to do, the parent knows what we're willing to do, but then also that way, if everybody knows what's going on, there's never a he said, she said. Or a she said, or a he said, or a he said, she said, or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we've communicated to everybody what the plan is, and then that way we've been moving on. When we come back, we're going to talk about ways to get involved with your bio parents, lend support, and maybe give them a little bit of hope in their life. Right after this on Foster Life. We're talking about bio parents. And I gotta tell you, now, they've got issues, but I really like some of my bio parents. You know that all of my older boys, except for 2, I have a relationship with their parents. And actually my 21-year-old, when we went on our, we go on a vacation every fall, him and I, and when we went on our fall vacation, we visited his bio mom and his bio brothers and sisters, and it was part of our trip, and we had a good time, and I talked to her and encouraged her, and you know, that kind of stuff as well, too. So you can build healthy relationships with them.
Mhm.
One of the things that I try to do is a couple of times a week, I try to just send them a text message and maybe send a picture of them like at breakfast or a picture of them.
Or
When
playing
they come
sports
to
or
school.
something, doing
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah, just doing something.
Uh-huh.
And that way they kind of get a picture and they get a little message. And it doesn't have to be anything other than, hey, thinking about you today. Jackie is going to be playing whatever. And then send a picture and, And it takes me, 2 minutes to do so?
Mhm.
It's really no big deal. Other things that you can do.
Well, didn't you mention something about earlier before the show, sending a report card to
Mhm.
show how well the kids are doing?
Yeah, sometimes we forget to show the parents their report card, and the parents want to know how they're doing in school. If they're doing really good, it's going to make them feel good and encourage them that they're in the right place, the right school, that kind of stuff. If they're not doing so good, they might be able to encourage them on their next visit that they have and say, hey, I noticed you had a D in science, and what are some things that you're doing to kind of help that? Maybe you can get some tutoring and that kind of stuff so they can kind of work with you in parenting. And that's the thing on this parenting in foster care. It's not a them and us.
Mhm.
If you do it together, it's much more
Right.
easier
Just like
on the kid.
if the kid's got health issues or something, it's always good to go ahead and contact the bio parents and let
Right.
them know when those appointments are
Yep.
with the doctor, so that they come and they understand what's going on with their child.
Yeah, definitely. Or even their physical, just their yearly physical.
Mhm.
Invite them to come to those appointments. They have to go to the dentist once a year, the eye doctor once a year, all of those appointments too. Invite them. Especially if they're going to go home and they have any issues, that parent really needs to know what's going on so that they're prepared. But making them a part of that. And when you're at those doctor's appointments, we've even went as far now, if the parent was making a poor decision, I would stand up and I would say, well, I think we really need to do this. But I've never had that happen at those doctor's appointments that you're having. When there's things that we have to decide, and the doctor will say, well, one of my ideas was that we start this and we do this and we do that, or we could do this, do that, do this. And I've said to in front of the doctor with the bio parent right there, let us talk about it for a minute and then we'll let you know. And we've talked about it and we've usually agreed
Mhm.
and done our pros
And
and
if
cons.
it's an older kid, seeing that
Yeah.
relationship with the bio parent may help form a relationship for not only
Right.
you and the bio parent, but also you and the kid and the bio parent.
Right. And it also is mentoring them
Mhm.
to think about the pros and the cons before you make big decisions for your kids for when they go home. And hopefully they're going to remember, oh yeah, we kind of talked about that. He kind of weighed the pros and the cons, and then we decided together. So yes, medical appointments, invite them, encourage them to be there, and then once they're there, make them feel a part of the appointment. Don't just let them sit there off to the side and just observe. This is the mom. We're having this appointment, and then work together with it. Some other things that we can do.
Be a supervised visit maybe to the school activities.
Exactly. So you can supervise visits if the team is good with that. Sometimes our foster parents supervise visits, but also if the team's okay with it, maybe Janet plays soccer, or one plays volleyball or whatever. And if the team's okay with it, and mom or dad would like to come and be a part of that sporting event, you could supervise that. And all you're really doing is usually sitting with the bio parent, and you're just making sure that everything is appropriate, and making sure that the child isn't having any unsupervised time with the parent. So like if the parent says, hey, can Jackie run out to my car with me for it? No. But Jackie, and you could run out to your car together. And you don't ever want them to go, because you never know.
Mhm.
I've had parents that give their kids cigarettes, and so obviously we don't want them going off to the car. But just making sure that it's appropriate, and usually I've never had a problem at a special event. We've went to a Cirque show, you know.
Uh-huh.
One of the moms wanted to take the kids to a Cirque show. We did that. We've done all kinds of things. But again, don't feel like you have to be the money person and buy the concessions and the this and the that. And I always tell them we're going Dutch. And so Dutch basically means you pay for yours and the kids, and then we'll pay for ours. And we separate it. If it's something that they want to do, then it's, you know, an extra curricular activity. Because they'll try to take advantage, and we have way too many kids that we're taking care of for me to pay for additional stuff. So yes, supervising activities or supervising visits, that's a really good way.
Those visits just to the home as well, the supervised visits to the home are good as well too.
And being not critical, but being able to, if you're supervising in the home, being able to look at things that maybe are not safe or might be a better idea for how the home is set up or whatnot, and being able to communicate that without being offensive.
Sometimes that can be hard to do.
Right, and it can be hard to do, but sometimes what I'll say is, oh, you know, when we became foster parents, you're not allowed to have like a ton of stuffed animals in there. And the reason that they do that is because if those came down around, they could suffocate. And so by planting that, I'm putting it kind of on me, but it gives that parent the thought of, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have so many stuffed animals in that crib. You know, or I'll say that might be something that you might want to consider, and then they don't take offense to it because you're not being bossy.
Right.
You know, so knowing how to, when you supervise those visits, to watch that. Also, if the kid has behavioral issues, when you're supervising and the parents are trying something and it's obviously not working, sometimes you can say, hey, when this happens in our home, this is what we've tried, and sometimes it works, and usually they'll try it. But if you say, hey, do this instead, then they're going to feel like you're kind of telling them how to take care of the kid. So I'm finding that making suggestions, a lot of times they'll take your suggestions and run with it. If you order them on how to do something,
yeah, it's all about how you word the sentences that come out of your mouth.
And it's probably not going to go so well if we're telling them how it should be.
Right.
When we come back, we're going to talk about what not to do, because there is a fine line, and it's great to be involved and it's great to lend support, but you never want to cross the line. Right after this. This is where the conversation starts, only on Foster Life. We're back on Foster Life today, and we're talking about the bio parents. We have some really good ideas on how to get involved. But you always got to go down that line, because once you cross the line, one, their expectations of you become higher.
You start paying for things that you didn't expect to be paying for.
Or you start, they start thinking that because you brought them for this thing, that you're going to bring them for that thing and whatnot. And so there's definitely some things that you probably just want to shy away from.
One good thing is basically if you are going to a certain event with that child and the bio parent, maybe just making sure that they know, well, you're going to be doing that in normal life anyway, so they're going to have to pay for the child themselves, but then you'll pay for yourself and make sure to get the kid to that place.
Exactly. So if they want to go to Jump Mania or the museum, or they want to go to a movie or whatever, you need to make it very clear, okay, so you're going to pay for you and your children, and I'll pay for myself, and then we'll do the visit there. And that's fine, but they just need to know that you're not gonna pay for everybody to get in, because pretty soon, they're gonna wanna go be doing everything, and they're gonna expect that you're gonna pay, and then the first time you say no, they're gonna be mad at you, because they think that it's your responsibility to take care of it, and it's not your responsibility to take care of any of that. The other thing you don't wanna do, ever give them money. A lot of our parents, not all of them, but a lot of our parents struggle with addiction. And folks, when their kids are in care, even if they're doing really good, there's a thing called relapse. And most people who get clean and sober, and I know, I dedicated my life to working with addicts for a long time, and a lot of people that are working at getting sober relapse. That's part of the process. If you're shelling out cash to them, it's really easy to relapse. And we call that enabling, and we don't want to be their enabler. That's not our job. So you never want to give them any kind of cash at all. You don't ever want to give them any kind of loan at all. I'm going to pay you back. I just need $100 for this alternator, and then tomorrow I'm going to pay you back because I get my check tomorrow. I'm sorry. You're going to have to just wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, don't offer any kind of
Nope.
car or transportation.
Mm-mm. Yes, and if you're supervising visits, we don't go pick up mom on the way. That's a liability issue for you.
Mhm.
You're covered to take care of the kid, so we don't swing by and get mom. Mom needs to meet you at wherever the visit's going to take place. We don't drive mom over to the supermarket because she's out of food. You could offer other things. What I tell my moms are, in our little town that we used to live in, they have a thing, the Oats bus.
Uh-huh.
It's like $1 to ride the Oats bus. Call the Oats bus and they'll ride you over to Walmart and then they'll take you back home when you're done and it costs $1. So I try to give them another alternative,
Right.
but I can't ride it because that's a liability issue really. And we don't want, if something were to happen, that would just make things kind of muddy. I know we shouldn't have to say this, but it's happened because I serve on the advisory board and we had to write a policy for this. Don't ever date them. We don't foster parent, you don't even want to get in that kind of relationship. I would even go as far to say you don't want to be in a personal friendship relationship with them. You're really put there to mentor them and to be like a big brother, big sister type thing. And just like we wouldn't get into a personal relationship with the big brothers, big sisters, we shouldn't do that. Now, after the kid goes home and they're doing well and everything, if you keep lending support and you become friends with them, that's a different
Right.
duck.
Mhm.
But we're not there to be their friends. We're there to help them and mentor them and help them to
Make sure the kids
reunificate
right.
their
Make
kids.
sure the kid's going back to a good home.
Right. Yep. Other things that we don't want to do. I would say just don't even get involved in their personal anything.
Yeah, you don't need to hear the stories of way back when
Right.
these bio parents. You just need to know what do we need to do in order to make sure this kid goes
Right.
back to a good home.
Yep. Well, we're getting ready to have our divorce, and my attorney was wondering if you could come and testify on my behalf. No.
That's
no,
never a
no,
good story
no.
right there.
Just don't get involved. Just don't be involved in that. Your involvement is to help them get their kids back, to develop healthy choices, make good choices, to plan. Beyond that, it's probably just not a good idea at all. And you can provide that support. And I will tell you that sometimes it does work out differently. We have a child that came to us when he was really little, and the dad was the non-offending parent. He hadn't done anything. He just didn't know that he had this son. And he came into the picture. He's one of my best friends. But when I was supervising visits and making sure that he was appropriate and making sure he wasn't my best friend, I was his mentor. And I gave him suggestions, and I helped him. And then after this kid going home, and he's been home several years now, we have developed a friendship, and he's kind of like part of the family. But that took years and years and years of that, and building trust and support, just like any friendship. Always remember, you can't fix them. They gotta want it. You can't do it for them. You can have hope for them. You can want it for them. You can do whatever, but you cannot fix the problem. They have to fix it, and they have to do it. And that's hard. When I worked with addicts, this is how I'm going to wrap it up. I found out really quickly I wanted their sobriety worse than they wanted their sobriety. And when they would go off the wagon and go hit rock bottom again, it would break my heart. And I had to learn that I couldn't want it more than they wanted it. They had to want it. And that's the only way that it was going to work. So I'm encouraging you as foster parents, be involved with your bio parents. And you're not going to be able to work with all of them. I know that. But if you can, try to mentor them. Try to understand the best you can. Do not enable them, and you can't want it more than they want it. March 2nd, we're on spring break live
In Branson.
Branson, Missouri. It's really like the family fun place of the year. It used to be the live entertainment capital of the United States. They still have live shows there, but not as many as they used to. But they have so much fun stuff to do, and it's pretty inexpensive for a family vacation. That's why we're going to be there, talking to our foster parents about how they can go there. We're going to be talking about some of the different attractions that they have. There will be prizes, food, live entertainment. You can be a part of our studio audience. Foster parents, foster families and parents, it's $5 to get in. That includes your mini golf and all the other amenities and things that we have to do there. It's going to be from 11 to 4, March 2nd. It's like an open house. You come and go as you please. And make sure to come say hello to Courtney, Mama T, Tristan, and myself. And we'll be there to say hello to you as well. Till next time on Monday with Courtney. Tristan will be on vacation, so this should be fun on